Hi, I'm Karla Schaefer, Auntie's Beads Designer, and I will be demonstrating 2-drop peyote. I'm going to go over the list of tools and supplies needed for this project. I'm going to be using 2 colors of an 8/0 seed bead, and I chose my colors from using the color wheel, so I'll also go over how to use the color wheel. You will need a number 10 or number 12 needle, and we're also going to be using a crystal fire line, and you'll need a pair of nipper tools to cut the fire line, the pattern that we have online for the project that we're going to be doing today. Okay, this is how I chose the 2 colors that I'm using in today's project, and the sample that I also that I did the original piece in. I used the color wheel, and I like this color wheel, and it has this little turn dial in the center, so you can do a triad, you can do all kinds of different color combinations. Basically what I did was, since I'm using 2 colors, is I used this little black arrow here, and so what it did is it pointed to the yellow, and then directly across at the other black arrow it pointed to a purple, so that I used color opposites on the color wheel. And when I did the sample online, I did the green and the fuchsia or the pink. So this is how I've chosen my colors. So today I've chosen the yellow and the purple. I'm going to do the base in the purple, and then I'm going to do the little polka dots in the yellow. And we'll also go over how to read the graph for the pattern. And I also forgot to mention in the materials that we'll be using a shank button for our closure. Okay, in peyote, and what 2-drop peyote is for every stitch we have 2 beads, so that's why it's called 2-drop. And just like regular peyote or even our odd count, in this case it is going to be odd, we have the beads line up every other row, kind of like this. So when I have a pattern, however, what I like to do is count the sides here to know when I need to start pulling in my accent colors. So first thing we're going to do is thread on our stop bead. I again am working with about 3 feet fire line, and I like to give myself plenty of tail, so it's 8 or more inches for a tail. So I have a stop bead, and in this case, as you can see on the graph, we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to pick up 10 beads in this. I'm working with the purple is going to be my base color. Okay, so I've got my 10, and this is what we're going to do with the 2-drop. In regular peyote, you would pick up a bead and then start threading through that bead there. In this case, I'm going to pick up 2 beads, going to skip these 2 beads and start threading here. So we want to look at these 2 beads as one unit. So this is going to be our first row, and in this case, 1, 2, 3. We're going to have 3 rows before we pick up an accent color. So first thing I'm going to do is just going to work with the purple. I'm going to pick up 2 beads with the needle, and then I'm going to bring my thread up through these 2 beads, and just like in regular peyote, they stack upon each other like this. So then we're going to pick up another 2 beads, skip those 2 next to it, bring it up through the next 2. And since this is odd count peyote, we have to make those hard turns on the end. And all you want to do is remember that you're going to go through 2 beads. So I've picked up my next 2 beads. And if you're not familiar with odd count, you need to go back and watch the odd count video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the needle back through the end of these last 2 beads that I've got on the thread on the first row. And then I'm going to go through these 2 beads through the bottom. I'm going to move it through the bottom 2, up through those back. This is the hard turn. Now we'll be back to these 2 beads here, and we'll be able to start our next row. And I'm going to flip this around so it's easier for me to work with. And I'm going to again pick up 2 beads, 2 purple beads, and I'm just going to start filling in my slots here. And it's really important to watch the graph very carefully when you start picking up the extra colors, because it gets a little confusing. And as I said, I like to count my sides. So right now I have 1, 2. So again, according to the graph, I still have another row before I add. So I'm going to just continue to pick up the purple. Okay, now I do have the 3 on the end, and we do have the 3 end here, but we still have to continue this 3rd row. So it's almost like the 4th row is when we pick up the color. You just really have to constantly check your pattern to make sure that we're doing the right thing, so that you can pay attention to where the colors drop in. Okay, and again I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to check my pattern. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the pattern, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So I have 4 here, I have 3 here in the 2nd row, and then I have 3 in this row. And right here is where I can see that I'm going to pick up 2 of that color, of the accent color. So here that's why you just constantly need to check the chart. I've got 4, 3, and 3, and I know that right now I'm going to be picking up these 2 accent colors. So I'm going to pick up 2 accent colors to start the little polka dot in the center. And then I'm going to finish it with 2 purple. And again, we have to do our hard turn here. Okay, and again, this is where the dot starts. So as I can see here, I've got 4. In this 3rd row here, for the 4th, I've got to pick up 2 of the accent colors. So now I'm going to pick up 2 more of the accent color. And once you get 1 polka dot done, it really kind of falls into place, and you can really kind of watch it a little better than just speeding off the graph. And again, I'm picking up 2 of the accent color here. Now this is the hard part, and I always mess it up on this one, is here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and again I'm going to pick up 1 purple and 1 accent color. Right here is where I always seem to have trouble with my pattern. So again, it's important to watch the pattern and learn how to read it. Some people like to put a ruler there. I myself just like to count my squares and then watch my pattern as it develops. And now I know that I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the polka dot in the center. I'm going to flip this over, it's easier. And again, coming out on this other end, you want to again put 1 accent color and 1 base color. It's very repetitive, but once you start getting the pattern figured out, then you just zip right through this.